Hey, welcome to my shop. Had some questions on my Harbor Freight lift, standard Harbor Freight motorcycle lift I bought used, and it used to have the pump, the foot pump on it. I converted it to air a couple years ago, and it's been working well. So I had a buddy ask about how I did that, and so give a quick demo. So essentially, I stripped out all the pump mechanism out of here, and then there's some tabs on this square tube that I just cut off. I think I used either a reciprocating saw or just a grinder and ground those off. So that is the standard. This pump is a Harbor Freight 12-ton hydraulic air pump that I bought, and I don't know if it's $100 and some bucks or so, but it fit right in there. I didn't use any welding, didn't have a welder at the time, so I did it with just nuts and bolts. So forgive the bolt lengths and stuff. I used what I had in the shop, so that was a little long, so I had to put some spacers on it and whatnot. So why do I have a space here is because this jack isn't sitting flush. If I were to go down like this, it's at an angle, and it needs to move a little bit as the table goes up and down and the ram extends and comes back. The jack has to have a little bit of flex to tip left and right on there. So that's the reason why it's like that. Otherwise, you think you could just bolt it flat up against this, but you don't want to do that. It's got to be able to move a little bit, so it does. I'll zoom in here. I'll try to go slow. So I think this piece right here that screws in, I think the one that came with this jack didn't work. This is to the old, the original foot pump lift, and so I think I unscrewed this from the other one and screwed it into this one, and it worked just fine. This piece of metal here, which is the handle, it just turns like this. This stuff right here kind of acts as a U-joint. This is just a piece of aluminum stock I had. I cut it, put a pin through it, and slipped it into there, and then bent the handle by hand, and then just had a piece of rubber that I put on the end of it. So let it go. The air, it's just a hose. It came with it. I ran it around the outside. It goes underneath there, and it's just zip tied enough so it's off the ground, and then I fed it through that hole on, and then this piece just kind of sits out there, and I just take the air chuck to my hose to the air compressor and hook it up when I need it. And so if we, right now I've got a motorcycle on it, I can air it up just to take enough pressure out to get the pin out. And then I'll turn this back, and the table will lower itself down. You can go as fast or slow as you want. And then, of course, you want to leave the pressure off of it, so that if you want to raise it back up, close the valve. And you can hit that with your foot if you want, but I'll try to back out here a little bit and just use my foot. The air compressor probably won't kick in. I have it turned off, but it should raise up here pretty good. Getting a little low on pressure, but it'll go a little faster if you have full pressure. But you get the idea. And of course, you'd put your pin in. We'll just put it in the lower section, and then I'll lower this to take the pressure off of it. And so now we don't have pressure. You don't ever want to leave it up with all the pressure on the jack. You want the pressure to be on the safety bar, otherwise you'll blow out your seals. So that's about it. The other nice addition I like that I have is this motorcycle chock. I bought a couple of them used on the marketplace a few years ago for cheap, and then I just drilled holes in it, and then these are just pins I can pull out, and then the whole thing will just come right off of there. That's been real handy. It works for everything up to about a KLR size motorcycle. If you have a big bagger, like a Goldwing with the bigger front tire, it won't go in there. In that case, you can take this off and put the original chock back on, but I never use that. The other cool thing about this one is this works as a really nice handle for when the table's down on the floor and you want to move it around your shop. It really makes it nice to move the table around. Kind of acts as a nice handle. But another thing that I'd recommend is this tire changing plate. Of course, this plate comes out so you can, on bigger bikes, drop the tire down through to change the tire. It doesn't stay there sometimes, and it'll want to pop out on you. So I took some self-tapping screws, and if I want to use it, I can pop these screws out, but it doesn't move. I had problems with that. I think that's it. Yeah, really, there's not much to it. You can see where I drilled the hole for the one bolt right through the plate. Oh, the other thing I need to mention, shoot, I should have mentioned that. One other thing, when you're mounting this, so the original air pump, manual pump down there, it will hit the ground. How do I explain that? If you mount the pump with the jack too far down on here, that piece will drag on the cement anytime you want to move your table around. So make sure that you have this up high enough off the ground when, however you want to secure it to this here, that this doesn't drag on the ground for when you're sliding it around on the floor. But other than that, yeah, any questions? I'll try to answer.